Welcome back to the Going the Distance podcast presented by ImmaculateSports.com. Twitter's at ImmacSports.
Instagram is also at ImmacSports.
TikTok, YouTube, also at ImmacSports. It's episode 84. Kyle's sick, but no days off for us like we've done in the past.
Exactly. I'm going to try to mute my mic whenever I have to blow my nose. But if I don't, I apologize in advance. But we're going to power through it because, like Skyler said, no days off when it comes to this stuff. Let's just go ahead and get right into it.
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing that you saw from this past week, Skyler?
It's got to be the Warriors' hot start in the first round, taking the first two games, especially with a limited Steph Curry. But as we saw last night, he is the greatest sixth man of all time, 34 points off the bench. Another guy, Jordan Poole, who we've all been talking about. Now the world will be second most, only behind Wilt Chamberlain in Warriors playoff points in the first two games. We got the lineup of death. It's looking great for the Warriors right now. They're dangerous as ever.
Yeah, they look very fun to watch. And I think as a Warrior fan, seeing this team finally fully healthy is very good to see. And still no Wiseman, but Wiseman's obviously not coming back this year.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to talk about the A's because they're off to a hot start. They won 3 out of 4 in Tampa over this past week, and part of that was last week as well. So I guess it would just be technically the last 3 games of that series, but I'm going over that whole series there. 3 out of 4 from the Rays. I mean, how can you not like that? A whole bunch of clutch hitting from the A's all throughout the lineup, especially with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. And they're continuing to play well. So that's probably the favorite thing I saw over this past week, especially since you put Warriors on there.
Yes.
Because the Warriors
someone's got to
the
take
favorite
it.
thing that I saw.
Yeah.
So right after that, it's episode 84. So who's your favorite number 84, Skyler?
I'm going to go with a Madden legend, Herman Moore, the Lions receiver. Back in the day, playing Madden 25. Getting a receiver who's 6'5", 6'6" was pretty overpowered back in the day. So that's where I know him from because I didn't watch the Lions in the 90s. So I apologize to Sham for that, but I wasn't alive. But Herman Moore, great Madden player.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a bit of a sarcastic one here, and I'm going with 2 legendary Raider receivers, Antonio Brown and Randy Moss. Randy Moss didn't wear 18 for the Raiders, or he didn't wear 84 for the Raiders. He wore 18, and obviously Antonio Brown never played for us, but he was on the team. He suited up for 1 preseason game, and that's about it. All right, so next up, Immaculate Sports Player of the Week. I feel like it's kind of weird to do the stats sometimes, so we went to go with the biggest moment, and Jason Tatum definitely had the biggest moment of the week when he had that game winner over the Nets in Game 1 of that series with the Celtics and the Nets, obviously. I mean, that series is going to be fun to watch. We'll talk more about that a bit later at halftime, but Jason Tatum is the Immaculate Sports Player of the Week. Now let's go ahead and get to team reports, and then we'll get the spotlight before we go ahead and get to where's your head at.
Yes.
Anything going on with the Jets? I mean, you guys have the draft coming up. I mean, I guess the Raiders do too, but not really picking 4 and 10. So,
yeah, just pretty much only rumors left with the draft. What are we going to do at number 4 and number 10? But right now, I guess the biggest news would be A.J. Brown, Tennessee Titans receiver. Again, I don't like to look too much into the social media stuff, but he has wiped the Titans clean, and he's not shown up to the offseason program. We'll talk more about the offseason programs in halftime, but this is, for obvious reasons, on the Jets' radar. Looking for a number 1 receiver. Should be looking to trade for a guy like this.
Exactly. It's a good thing there. The Raiders, they had their OTAs. Everybody showed up. That's good to see. It looks like a lot of people are buying in. Devontae Adams continues to post stuff as him and the Raiders, stuff like that, as cleats, him driving past the stadium. I enjoy it. Still seems very surreal to me. I can't wait to see him play his first game in the silver and black. And it's a pretty good spot right now for the Raiders. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and get the spotlight now. Take it to minor league baseball for Skyler. Tell me about the A's minor leaguer Grant Holman.
All right, Grant Holman, kind of a California legend, pitched in the Little League World Series, went to Cal, was a two-way star there, but now she's focusing on the pitching. First season this year with the Lansing Lugnuts, A's affiliate, pitching against the West Michigan Whitecaps on the 14th, threw an immaculate inning, which is always great, since we're immaculate sports. And also great start for him. Ended up getting the loss, but gave up one run and they got shut out. So sorry, Grant Holman, for getting the loss, but I did not forget about your immaculate inning.
Of course. Yeah, definitely kind of hard to go ahead and get the win when your team doesn't score a single run. I'm going to be talking about somebody that's been putting up runs recently, and that's Owen Miller. He leads the MLB in OPS. That's the Guardians' first baseman, utility man, whatever you want to call him. I did not know this guy could hit like this. He hasn't been able to hit like this his whole career, so maybe he's just on an insane hot stretch. And within 2 weeks, we're not going to be talking about Owen Miller ever again on the show. As of right now, he's hitting 500, 545 OBP with a 1.509 OPS. Leads the MLB in doubles, has 2 home runs. He's not striking out. 14 hits in 9 games. Owen Miller. I mean, this guy's been an absolute stud so far.
Absolutely. Him and Mr. Stephen Kwan going off for Cleveland.
Yeah, Kwan slowed down a little bit, but he's still obviously going God mode right now. He struck out a couple times, though, unfortunately. But yeah, it concludes Spotlight. Let's go ahead and get to Where's Your Head At, where we start with player, pitcher, and rookie of the week in the MLB. Skyler, who's your player of the week?
Well, it's a very Dodger-heavy award to start it off here because the Dodgers didn't lose this week. So my player of the week is going to be Trey Turner. He was hitting 9 for 24. That's a 375 average. He had a double, a triple, a homer off Hunter Green, 8 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. Him getting going. Obviously, a lot of the Dodgers did too, but he played a big role in the Dodgers getting back on track here this week.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys to pick for player of the week. I don't think we really had one guy go absolutely crazy to the point where you have to pick him, but we had a whole bunch of guys go off. And I went with Manny Machado for my player of the week. A 5-hit game. I don't think it was 6. Yeah, 5-hit game a few nights ago.
He helped me out on Prize Picks.
The week, going 9 for 22, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. That gives him a 409 average with a 1.281 OPS. No, that was wrong. I read Sean Murphy's stats. My bad. 12 for 26, 2 home runs, still 5 RBIs, 462 with the 1.270 OPS. So Manny Machado is my player of the week. Let's go to pitcher of the week now.
All right, my pitcher of the week was very simple. Clayton Kershaw. 2-0, 3 ERA, 20 strikeouts, and 7 perfect innings at Minnesota.
Yeah, I went with Kershaw as well. I think there's a chance you could have gone with somebody else here just because Kershaw didn't pitch that well in his most recent start. But just because his first start, 7 perfect innings with 13 strikeouts, I had to go with one of the GOATs of pitching in the last 20 years of baseball. So the Southpaw goes ahead and gets the pitcher of the week for me, and then that takes us to rookie of the week. Who do you got here?
Seiya Suzuki had a great week, but I didn't go with him this week. I couldn't do it. I had to go with another Pac-12 boy and Spencer Torkelson. Very slow start, but he's finally starting to get it going. 5 for 12 with a 417 average, 2 homers, 5 ribbies this week. Great for the Sun Devil.
Yeah. I went with Seiya Suzuki. It's very hard not to. And whenever he slows down, I won't pick him for rookie of the week. But as of right now, he's going hot, I'm picking him. I'm riding the wave with Seiya Suzuki, and that brings us to we've gone through about 10 games so far in the MLB season. Each team, I believe, has played 10 games at this point. Maybe a couple teams have played 9. I know the Cardinals had 3 rainouts. Same thing with the Royals. But we're going to talk about the most surprising team and the most disappointing starts in the MLB season so far. So we'll start off on the high note. Who's been the most surprising for you so far?
All right, I'm going to go with the Mets for my most surprising. You may think this may be a little cheap because they're kind of a media darling, but I didn't pick them to make the playoffs this year in our preseason show. I didn't really expect it to click right away, especially the starting pitching. McGill, Carlos, Carrasco, the Cookie, and Bassett have been completely lights out this year. Lindor, Nimmo, McNeil all look like they're back to their old self, even though Nimmo's now on the 10-day injured list. Hopefully we get him back. And all the new
He's playing today.
But he is? Sure. Okay.
Yeah, he pitch ran. He's up right now, actually. I just watched him hit ground ball to first.
All right, good. All the new additions. Mark Canha's an on-base machine, of course. And no DeGrom yet, and they're still doing all this. The bullpen, as predicted, is a little sketchy, but when you're only giving up 2 runs a game, it doesn't matter as much. So, going with the Mets.
Yeah. The Mets are a good choice here. I did think they'd be pretty good, though. So I went with the Rockies. I mean, this team, the hitting hasn't surprised me. They've been scoring a lot of runs, but they are 8th in the MLB in team ERA right now, and that is what is extremely shocking to me. It's due to their bullpen. Their bullpen has been so good so far. Tyler Kinley, 6 appearances, hasn't allowed a run yet. Carlos Estevez has been very good out of the bullpen as well. Jacob Lawrence, Ashton Goudeau, Ty Block. I mean, a whole bunch of people that are pretty much no names when it comes to relievers in the MLB. And that usually what happens when you're a reliever for the Colorado Rockies. But all these guys are stepping up right now, and they haven't even had their best reliever pitch for them so far this year. That's Robert Stevenson. Starting pitching hasn't been the greatest so far. Sensatello's been good. Chad Kuhl's been really, really good.
Freeland just got paid.
Yeah, Freeland just got paid, but he's ironically been their worst pitcher so far this season. He's allowed 10 runs in 9 innings. But hey, I mean, I guess it's good enough in Coors to go ahead and get you $55 million. So congrats to Kyle Freeland. And they are my most surprising team to start the season. The other side of the ball, though, who's the most disappointing team for you so far?
All right, we're going to the other side of the state here with the Yankees. I know 5-5 isn't horrible. I know they took 2 out of 3 against Boston, but they just lost a series to Baltimore in Camden Yards. That's like another home field for them. I think there's something wrong with Garrett Cole. I wrote this even before today. He got yanked in the 2nd inning against the Tigers because he walked in a run. And, the staples, I say in air quotes, for their lineup, the guys that they thought for sure these were the guys who were going to be fine, even with trades. Donaldson, Torres, IKF, Gallo, Rizzo, off to rough starts. We know they're going to make some trades here. So here, actually, I won't get into that part of it. That's for the next segment. Sorry. I'll end it right there. Disappointing. I know it's not horrible, but they should be better. You need to be better, Yankees.
Yeah. Most disappointing for me so far, I'm going to go with the Braves. They're sitting at 5-7 right now, and the offense has been good, but it's been the exact opposite of what the Rockies have that got them to their hot start, which has led the Braves to their terrible start so far. That's allowing 59 or 62 runs so far this season, which gives them a -12, -9 runs scored versus runs allowed ratio, and that's not good, especially for the reigning champs. And this kind of scares me a little bit. I mean, I know they're going to get Ronald Acuna back. I don't know if Mike Soroka is going to pitch in the MLB ever again because he's had a whole bunch of injuries in his career. But they're not really getting anybody back when it comes to pitching. So you can score runs all you want, but if you're allowing 5-6 runs a game, you're just not going to win that many games. I do expect them to eventually turn it around because it's kind of uncharacteristic for some of these guys to be doing so bad. Like Kenley Jansen allowing 3 runs already in 4 innings has been a little skeptical to me. Charlie Morton's not going to have a 7 or a 6 ERA throughout the season. Same thing with Max Fried, and same with Huascar Yona has been absolutely terrible so far. So I assume he will probably clean it up. But regardless, they're disappointing for me. I expect them to pick it up here soon because they are the reigning champs, and they do have one of the best first basemen in all of baseball right now with Matt Olson and how crazy he's been going.
Absolutely.
But I got to pick the Braves here. All right, let's go ahead and send it to halftime. But before that, a little preview of what we're going to be doing next on Where's Your Head At once we come back from halftime. That's going to be who will finish higher. We're going to pick 2 teams from each division in the MLB and see where we think right now and where we think they will be ending up at the end of the season. So if you want to listen to that, stick around through halftime and we'll talk about it. But first off, let's go to halftime.
All right. Halftime. Because we'll start it off with some basketball news. Marcus Smart, the guard from Boston, wins Defensive Player of the Year. Big win for the guards. First guard to win it since Gary Payton. I know I'm pretty big guy, normal standards here in the United States, but 6'5", I would be a guard too. So good for Marcus Smart.
It's very weird. I saw a TikTok about it actually. I forget who it was that made it. But Marcus Smart's odds at winning Defensive Player of the Year a month ago was plus 22,000. And he won it. Like, that's just like,
yeah.
And Defensive Player of the Year isn't just something that, like, you can just have like a little stretch and then go ahead and win it, Like, it's something that I think has to be very steady throughout the season. I think what really got him is that people realized towards the end of the season that it was the best defensive player on the best defensive team in basketball that was helping the Celtics win these games. But to think that everybody realized it is kind of crazy to me. But again, congrats to Marcus Smart. Obviously one of the best defensive players in all of basketball.
Well, to double down on what you just said, everybody finally realized it. A similar thing happened with the second place guy, Mikal Bridges from the Suns. I was really happy to see that. I like Gobert. No disrespect to him. He's, one of the best defensive players. But I'm glad Bridges and Smart finally got the hardware to prove it. Bridges not quite yet, but he got the second place votes. So good for him. Yeah. We're going to do a recap of all the NBA playoff games, not the finals yet. How did you want to do this one, Kyle?
I'll just go over some of the things that we've seen so far and where the series are at right now. So first off with the Warriors, we're up 2-0. We're playing good basketball, 2 blowouts so far. I really liked what I've seen from the Warriors.
I'll give a one-sentence recap after you. Pool is swimming.
Yes, sir. Jazz Mavs, no Luka so far, but the series is still tied 1-1. Jalen Brunson went off for 41 in Game 2 to help even up the series. Game 3, I believe, will be Thursday. And Luka's coming back for that.
Choked.
Yeah.
You got to go up 2-0 without Luka. Come on now. They blew it, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I think they probably lost the series just based off of that. That game alone yesterday, losing to a non-Luka Mavs team is very tough. Raptors Celtics, or not Raptors Celtics, that's not a series. Raptors Sixers. Sixers are dominating so far. Raptors have gotten hurt quite a bit. Scotty Barnes rolled his ankle, and some other players have been struggling to stay healthy throughout the games. But the Sixers are up 2-0, and they look very, very good right now.
Free throws win championships?
Maybe.
Joel's taking about 80 by the way.
Free throws.
Can't tell.
There is a game going on right now. Hawks and the Heat are tied at 42. Miami won the first game of that series by quite a landslide. What do we got going on right now, Skyler?
We got a pretty close game here. I don't have a clever way to say this, but John Collins needs to be playing 30 minutes a game if they want a chance here.
Yeah, he's coming back from injury. I think he had a 15 or 20 minute restriction in game 1, and obviously that's not going to be able to get it done for them.
Yeah.
Next series we're going to talk about, game 2 will be tonight in this series. That's the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies. Timberwolves took game 1 in a very exciting fashion. They won 130-117. Anthony Edwards went off for 36. So game 2 tonight, Minnesota up 1-0.
Stephon Diggs?
What?
The Minneapolis Miracle.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was pretty confused on what you meant by that first though. So 3 more that we haven't talked about yet. Celtics Nets, we talked about that actually a little bit in the open. But Celtics obviously won game 1. Jason Tatum had that crazy game winner. This series looks like it's going to be the real deal. Boston's up 1-0.
7 games, please.
Yes, please give us 6 more of those games. That was a very exciting game 1. 2 more left. The Bucks and the Bulls. Low scoring matchup in game 1. Bucks won 93-86. Game 2 will be tomorrow.
Bucks in 4.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing there. Suns and Pelicans is the last one to talk about. Game 1 got a little closer than expected at the end of it. 99-110 victory for the Suns. Jonas Valanciunas had 25 rebounds in game 1. But CP3 went off for 30 because rebounds don't equate to points, obviously. And the Suns took game 1, and they're up 1-0. Game 2 is tonight.
Ayton, control the paint.
Yeah, grab the fucking rebounds, Andre. And
he's the X factor for this entire tournament, I think.
Yeah. But that's going to do it for the NBA playoffs recap.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about some players that skipped the program.
Yeah, so we've been hearing. We'll start off with Deebo Samuel receiving death threats from Niner fans. I think that's a bit ridiculous. You know, the Niners haven't paid anyone in a long time, and I think if anyone should be that guy, it would be Deebo Samuel, and he's not there at the offseason program, and people don't like it. You know, I'm not going to make a prediction today of whether I think he's going to be re-signed. Right now, it seems like he probably wouldn't be based on the history of the Niners paying people. But come on, guys. I mean, as a Jets fan, Revis didn't show up, you know, and we still love him. You know, he even went to the Patriots, and we still love him. So take a deep breath. All right.
I think loving Revis even after he went to the Patriots, so it was a little much at some time. You know.
Right. I'm sorry, Kyle. Similar story here with less death threats with Terry McLaurin. Another guy who's looking for a new team. I guess he doesn't like Carson Wentz. At least a new contract.
Shocker.
Yeah, he's not going to be at the program, so watch out for him. The other guy, an obvious one here in Baker Mayfield, he won't be playing for the Browns ever again. So it makes sense why he wouldn't go to their offseason program. Yeah, maybe we see him go to Seattle is what I've been hearing.
Carolina as well.
Robbie but didn't you hear what Bob McAdoo said?
I did not, but I did see what Robbie Anderson said, and Robbie Anderson said multiple times on Instagram that he does not want Baker Mayfield to be his quarterback.
All those guys apparently really like Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, you know, I think this is a situation. We've talked about it before. We got to wait and see what happens with the draft. Because if guys are falling to the second round, those quarterbacks, there's maybe 5-6 guys who are capable of being drafted in the first 2 rounds. If those guys all fall and people are trading up and not taking them, you know, with a premium pick, then we'll know what the deal is here. We'll know Baker has a higher market. Another guy we found out today, A.J. Brown, skipping the program. He's not happy with Tennessee. I talked about this a little bit with the Jet Report. Another similar situation. Receiver wants to get paid because the receivers are the new running backs. You know, they're being used in different ways. We saw with Deebo, especially this year, and they have a higher prone to injury now. They want to get their payday. And yeah, that's all I have for those guys. We'll go back to some baseball here. The original reason we had halftime was to talk about some of the blunders that happened over the week. And this was a pretty big one for the Blue Jays. The A's-Blue Jays series, the second game of the series over the weekend. Jeff Nelson, the home plate umpire, made some controversial calls here, even through the manager, Montoya, I can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry.
Charlie Montoya.
Charlie Montoya out of the game here. And I have some of his stats. If you don't know the umpire scorecards, they have a website, Twitter page. They track.
I follow it.
There you go. Well, I'm talking to to everybody. They have all the numbers.
It's a good follow.
It is. Jeff Nelson, he had in 160 called pitches, 22 were wrong. That's the second highest this season. His accuracy on those calls, 86.2%. That is the lowest by far this year. And it favored, even though we're an A's fans here, it favored the A's by over a run. And I'm not, going to comment more on that because Pache hit a game-winning homer. I don't think the balls and strikes the inning after really mattered for the win or not. But yeah, this was a horrendous umpiring experience. I think even as an A's fan, I was a little disturbed by it.
Yeah, you're just like, there's definitely some moments where I said, "Thank you, Mr. Nelson." But yeah, I mean, he shouldn't be an MLB umpire if he's having a game like that.
Yeah.
Robo lumps.
Hey, they're trying it out in the lower level minors.
Atlantic League.
All right. We got 2 weeks, Kyle, until the NFL draft. It's always a big moment for us here since we're
1 week technically for our show.
Yeah, technically 1 week. So I have our second to last mock draft here, and I'm just gonna get into it. This is kind of what I've been hearing, kind of what makes sense to me. No trades on this one. Maybe I'll do some trades for the last one. But here we go. Number 1 pick, Jacksonville Jaguars. I have them taking Aiden Hutchinson. He is, I wouldn't consider him the best player available, but it seems like, I don't know, it just makes more sense than taking anybody else here. I don't think they're going to take a tackle, number 1. Number 2, Detroit Lions. Sorry?
Probably should. Take a tackle.
They probably should. Number 2, the Lions, a team that took a tackle last year, so I'm not having them take a tackle again. Going with Trayvon Walker, the edge rusher from Georgia. Not the quarterback, Malik Willis here. Trayvon Walker's been a huge riser through the
he's gone up so much. I unmuted my mic there for a second while I was blowing my nose. Like, I know who this guy is.
Yeah.
But why is he a number 2 pick candidate now?
He's an athletic freak and he's young. And these teams want to take a risk on a guy who, even though he's not perfect, he could get to the quarterback extremely fast, because that's what this league's all about now.
True.
All right, number 3, Houston Texans. Again, kind of a best player available situation. I have them taking Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati. It could be an edge rusher here, but I have them passing on Thibodeau. Could be anything, really. But they don't need a quarterback. Best player available, Sauce Gardner. Number 4, the Jets' first of 2 picks in the top 10 here. I have them taking Kayvon Thibodeau. This is just the guy I want. This is, in my opinion, the best player in the draft. I know he has some character concerns. I don't care. Let's Saleh, smack the concerns out of him here, and let's rebuild the defense. At number 5, the Giants are extremely happy to get the guy they want, Ika Mekwonu, Sticky Icky, tackle, guard, offensive, whatever.
God.
Offensive god from NC State. And yeah, the offensive line for the Giants is probably the worst part about a terrible team. So you want to pick that up too. The Panthers also at 6, I think maybe in play for quarterback, but I haven't taken Evan Neal here since he doesn't go number 1 or to the Texans or to the Jets or to the Giants or whatever. Evan Neal's a great left tackle. He is a massive dude, and it's all in the lower body, so you're not pushing him around. Number 7, the Giants. Last pick in the first round here, Jermaine Johnson, edge rusher from Florida State, little older guy, but he's rising because another guy who's been great at the Combine, Senior Bowl, should be pretty much ready to go. Number 8 here, I have the Falcons taking Malik Willis, finally a quarterback off the board. The strong arm one from Liberty goes to the Falcons here, who have Mariota as their starter as of today. So
I don't want to see Marcus though.
Marcus would probably be starting though.
Yeah.
Number 9, the Seahawks trade up here with the Russell Wilson trade. Of course, they get Charles Cross, a left tackle, to start the rebuild here. Another guy I'm sure they'd be happy with.
Hey, it's not a rebuild, man. It's not a rebuild.
Okay, whatever you say.
That's what they said. The retool.
And
re-engage.
Re-engaging with Drew Lock. All right. Number 10, finish off. The Jets are taking Jameson Williams here. The thing about Jameson Williams is I know he's coming off an injury, but you don't expect your rookie receiver to be fully ready to go right away, especially now. Yeah, give me a crazy look, Kyle. Okay. It's similar with Elijah Moore. Even though he was hurt last year, didn't play the full season, we still saw huge improvement. And I'm willing to take that risk with Jameson Williams here. 2 blue chippers in the top 10 is fine with me. I guess we'll skip around here, go to the notables. At 13, I have the Texans taking Drake London, receiver from USC, another best player available.
Another injured receiver who's going to be a top receiver drafted into the NFL, which is weird this year because they usually fall, but both of them have risen this year, so good for them.
The Saints at 16, they lose their left tackle, Teron Armstead, but they are very happy to have Trevor Penning, similar-sized guy from Northern Iowa, fall here. Could be a little bit of a project, but he throws dudes around. The Eagles take Chris Olave at 18. Receiver, I have a feeling the receivers are going to go a little higher, so maybe the Patriots, Packers, and Chiefs of the world will have to either trade up or just suck it up. I know you're probably happy to hear that, Kyle, because you're going to be going against those guys. 19, though, I have the Saints taking Kenny Pickett. I know they signed Jameis Winston, Jesus, for 2 years here, but I feel like there's a reason they have 2 first-round picks this year. There's a reason they did it, and they didn't save it for next year. They're going to do something interesting here. All right, we got the Packers replacing Devontae Adams, kind of, with Jahan Dotson, speedster from Penn State, the receiver. We got the Titans. In my situation, in case they're losing A.J. Brown, here's a similar-bodied guy in Treylon Burks from Arkansas. I feel like that would be a pretty quick transition. Kansas City Chiefs, like I said, they need a receiver, so they're going to take Sky Moore, receiver from Western Michigan, another guy who kind of destroyed everybody at the, pre-draft workouts and everything. And 32 will end it off with the Lions taking a quarterback, Matt Corral from Ole Miss. I think this guy might be my quarterback 1 to start off the year, coming off the injury, which hurts him a lot, but someone's going to take a risk because this guy can sling it. And that wraps it up. I'm excited. I feel like this year we really have no idea what's going on. There's about maybe 50 different guys that could be going night 1, and it's usually maybe 35. So should be pretty crazy.
So do you happen to know who might be going 86?
86? Oh, is that your first pick?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We could talk about this off the show for sure, but as of right now,
I didn't think that you had up to 86 picked, so I'll go ahead and give you a pass on that one. But
thank you.
See you in day 2 NFL drafts. But yeah, that's gonna do it for halftime. Let's go to who will finish higher in the second half of Where's Your Head At, and we're starting off with 2 AL East foes, the Yankees and the Red Sox. Currently, both of these teams are 5-5. Who will finish higher at the end of the season, Skyler?
I'm sticking with the Yankees in this one, like I did preseason. I just, even though I don't trust Garrett Cole, I trust their pitching staff as a whole more. As I was kind of alluding to at the end of the last baseball segment, I think they're going to make another big trade, because their lineup right now is just not working, and that's how the Yankees roll. If it's not Judge, Stanton, or Hicks, they will move from you quickly. And I just don't like their title odds at all, but I'd take them over Boston.
Going into today, the Yankees have allowed the least runs in the AL, but they have also scored the second least runs in the AL. And I'm going to pick the Boston Red Sox here, who I also picked 2 weeks ago to finish higher than the Yankees, just because, for the simple fact, I think their team's better. I think the environment in Boston is better to win right now, because I think when you are a losing Yankees team, that crowd is going to fucking hate you, and they're just going to drill into you night after night after night, and it gets very tough to play. I think it's going to be a tough season for the Yankees, and Aaron Judge isn't going to be a Yankee next year. That's my bold prediction right now.
All right.
Guardians and the Tigers for our AL Central.
All right. The Guardians
right now, by the way, before you go ahead and make your point.
Yes.
Both of these teams are 4-5.
Okay. That changes everything.
Yeah.
Cleveland had a hot start. The J-Ram extension's huge, but I just see, more sustainability with Detroit's lineup here. They spent a lot of money on these guys, and they're going to put it all together eventually, probably when Omago comes back. And they're just a little farther along than Cleveland is. I don't think Cleveland can keep it going with Quan and Miller. And I love J-Ram, but probably not him either.
Yeah, I'm picking the Tigers here as well. I think Cleveland scoring 49 runs so far in their first 9 games is amazing. And the Tigers scoring 28 runs in their first 9 games is absolutely terrible. But I think there's a higher chance that those two flip than they don't at this point. I mean, if Owen Miller and Stephen Kwan prove me wrong in June and July and August and September, then props to them. But this Tigers team is a better team than Cleveland, especially deep through the lineup. I'm not saying Detroit has a deep lineup by any means, but they have a better lineup than the Cleveland Guardians do. I think I almost said Indians there, so I'm very happy that I saved it with the Guardians. AL West now, the A's and the Rangers. Right now, the Rangers are sitting at one of the worst records, if not, the worst record in the MLB at 2-7, and the A's are 1 game over 500 at 6-5.
Yeah, I gotta go with the A's as of right now. The Texas lineup is really cold, other than Jonah Heim and Corey Seager. Shout out to Joe Madden for intentionally walking him with the bases loaded. Their starting pitchers have a combined ERA of 7. And at least Oakland has been able to stay in close games here with dudes stepping up from the pitching staff. And you just don't see that from Texas. I got to go with Oakland.
Yeah, I'm going with the A's here as well. I think they're looking at it right now. There's a decent chance the A's can go ahead and win 75 to 80 games just because of how easy it is to play in Oakland as a player, where it's just you're not going to get ridiculed every single night if you don't start off your career getting off hot. I mean, Kevin Smith started off his career 0 for 16 with the A's. Still, his first at-bat, people are giving him round of applause and going crazy.
Chapman and Olsen couldn't hit when they got called up, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you get called up in New York or one of these other big markets and you go 0 for 16 to start off your career, you might be getting booed your first home at-bat. So to see that for Kevin Smith, and I mean, the A's fans are already rallying around Christian Pache.
Yeah.
I definitely got to pick the A's. A little bit about the Rangers here. I mean, their pitching staff sucks. That's all I got for you. They can score runs, but their pitching staff sucks. On to the NL now with the Marlins and the Phillies. These two teams played last weekend. Marlins took 2 out of 3 in Miami. Right now, Miami is sitting at 4-5, and the Phillies are sitting at 4-7.
Yeah, right now I have to say Miami. This is one I did switch from the preseason prediction. I had the Phils in second in the East, but Miami just won 3 out of 4 head-to-head against them. Marlins added a lot of power. Jazz Chisholm is going to be a star if he's not already one, and the rotation is deeper than Phillies. The Philly has Ranger Suarez with a pretty good start last week. Other than that, nothing. And the rotation from Miami, Alcantara, Lopez off to great starts, Luzardo with a great first start with them, and the Rookie of the Year runner-up last year too. Not a great start, but we know he can swing it when he wants to. So got to go with Miami.
Yeah, Philly's been super disappointing for me so far. They were the second team I was going to put on the most disappointing start for me. We talked about this earlier, but since I didn't pick them to be that good, I didn't put them on there. Zach Wheeler's been terrible so far. Aaron Nola hasn't been that good. Almost said Austin. Kyle Gibson's been decent, but besides that, the rotation has not been good. Their bullpen hasn't been anything crazy. Their lineup hasn't been putting up an insane amount of runs that we expected.
With the amount of errors they've been making, they have to be insane.
Exactly. I think you can have a lot of stars in baseball, but if you don't do the little things right, you're not going to win a lot of games. And that's exactly what the Phillies are. Miami, I don't know if they're going to be a great team this year, but their offense has definitely improved a lot since last year. Adding guys like Avisel Garcia and Jorge Soler are really going to help them out.
Wendell hit a triple a couple days ago.
Yeah, Wendell being in there as well. Just the growth of Jazz Chisholm and guys like that within their lineup is really going to help as well. So I think I got to take Miami here because their pitching staff is also better than Phillies. On to the NL Central. We have two probably bottom feeders, Pirates and Cincy. Right now, the Cincinnati Reds actually do have the worst record in the league. My bad, Texas Ranger fans. They are 2-9, and then Pittsburgh's off to a decent start at 5-5.
Yeah, I have to go with the Reds here. They started off against Atlanta, the Dodgers, and a Cleveland team that didn't strike out ever. And the difference is they have dudes that aren't going anywhere. Jonathan India, Joey Votto, Tyler Stevenson, Castillo, and Hunter Green is shout out to him, by the way, for breaking the record, most 100-mile-per-hour pitches in a game, 39 or something like that. Who knows if that'll translate? It's a whole nother conversation with the Cardinals turning Hicks into a starter. But I got to take the Reds here. I don't think the Pirates can sustain any of this.
I'm going to go with the Pirates. I don't think the Pirates are going to be good. I just think the Reds are going to be terrible. I think there's a lot of signs right now where I just don't see their pitching side of the ball really getting any much better. I mean, Hunter Green's been a fun thing to watch, but he's still giving up 5 runs in 10 innings right now. So he's going to be decent. Tyler Mahley's been terrible so far this season. They're not getting any.
Even though he was supercharged.
Yeah, he was supercharged, but he hasn't been good ever since. Luis Castillo isn't pitching quite yet. I assume he'll probably be moved by the deadline. Jonathan India is already hurt. He just got put on the 10-day IL today. The lineup isn't deep. Joey Votto's there, but that's pretty much it at this point, especially once they trade away Suarez and Winker. This Philly team, or not Philly, Cincy team just does not have any good part to it right now. And even though Pittsburgh isn't good at really anything either, I just think they're a tad bit better than Cincy. Lastly, for the NL West, we're going to do Colorado and San Diego. Both of these teams off to decent starts. Colorado is going ham right now, 7-3, and the Padres are at 7-5, even without their best player, Fernando Tatis Jr. So by the end of the season, who do you think is going to end up being ranked higher?
Colorado's impressing me for sure, but I still have to go with the Padres here. Their lineup's been great, and they're still missing Tatis. You know, guys like Hosmer, who just got so ridiculed during spring and even the start of the year, is kind of on fire right now. And I think the difference here is they have a factory of arms that's going to carry them through the dog days of summer, where all the pitchers hit the IL, and you're calling up the. You know, I love them, but the Dalton Jeffries of the world, the prospects who aren't on anybody's radar, but they're kind of quad A, triple A guys. And those guys, aren't going to keep you in the wild card race, usually.
Yeah, this is a tough choice for me. I think this is one of the hardest ones that we've had throughout here. Especially, I just like Colorado so far. I think they've done a really good job with just everything. I think Chris Bryant signing there was an amazing signing now, looking at it just in the first 10 games that he's been there. Padres, I think, are going to be a very good team, and I actually do think they end up finishing higher than Colorado, but I just still want to talk about Colorado because they're fun. I think when it comes to NL playoff picture, I think there's going to be three teams battling for 2 spots, and I think those 3 teams will probably be Colorado, SF, and San Diego. I don't think the Giants really keep up their insanely hot start that they have. I don't think they're as good as last year. I think Colorado can float around 88 to 90 wins if they play really well throughout the season. And the Padres, I mean, who really knows right now with the Padres? They're kind of the biggest question mark team because Tatis isn't going to be back until June or July. Even
you see him playing soccer and almost broke his ankle?
Yeah, and then he fell. I'm just like, this kid's completely reckless when it comes to this stuff. But
let him have fun, but Jesus.
I'm going to go with the Padres as a safe choice, but I could definitely see the Rockies staying hot for a couple months and Padres just maintaining around 500. And maybe if Tatis doesn't come back until very early August or late July, whatever it is, and having the Rockies just finish a little bit higher than them. But I'm going with the Padres as my safe choice.
All right.
Let's go ahead and get to the bets and let's get on out of here, where it was a weird week for the bets because a lot of them haven't really cashed out yet, I guess, is the right way to say it.
Yeah, our math was a bit off on that.
Yeah, last week I had the Pelicans over the Spurs. That did happen. Pelicans ended up also beating the Clippers and making the play-in or making the playoffs. So shout out to them. They're probably going to get swept, though. And then Skylar had Milwaukee win series over the Chicago Bulls. I assume next week when we get around to this, that will turn green. So good job, Skylar, I guess. And then this week I have White Sox over Cleveland on Thursday. Dylan Cease's pitching this game, and I think Dylan Cease has a decent chance to win AL Cy Young this year, especially with the slow start for guys like Garrett Cole. So I'm going with the White Sox on Thursday.
I'm not changing my pick here. I'm going to stick with Milwaukee winning the series against Chicago. I think this has the best chance of going to a sweep, and it's free money. Go bet on it.
It's true. Then we go to the bold prediction side of the ball. I had the Bucks sweep the Bulls as my bold prediction. That hasn't cashed out yet. So I guess technically that'll also be part of my bold prediction for this week. But then last week, Skylar had the Brewers win the series over the Cardinals. I believe that was a 2-2 series split there.
They split it, yeah.
So Skylar put his in yellow. I think technically that's fair there.
I'm wrong, but yeah, I put it in yellow because my guy Ashby got the win in Game 4. He's been my guy. He's
and then
sorry for disrupting, but Aaron Ashby's disgusting.
And then this week I have Milwaukee Brewers sweeping Philly just because I think Philly sucks and I think Milwaukee has a chance to really start to get things going here. I'm just sticking with the theme of Milwaukee sports.
Yeah. I'm going to have the Seattle Mariners sweeping Kansas City. I think Seattle's due. They got Marco Gonzalez, Chris Flexen, Robbie Ray going in those 3 games. I wish I had a little bit of Matt Brash in there because he's been on fire, but this will have to do. Kansas City can't really hit right now. So go with Seattle to sweep and some low-scoring games.
Yeah. So that's going to do it for episode 84. Talked about baseball, talked about the NFL draft, talked about the NBA playoffs. Probably going to be the exact same thing next week, just with a different time. Yeah.
And we'll have coming up to grading the draft picks from the first round like we did last year. That's always fun.
Yes, sir.
You know what we should do? We should maybe not after a year, but at some point we'll go back and
look at what's going on with those picks. Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah. And if there's a problem with RSS, you'll be on YouTube. I don't think there should be this week again, but should be on both. I'll put it on YouTube too. Just screw it, So
why not?
Yeah. Anything else we got going on?
Pray for me. I hope I feel better.
I'll be praying that you can.
I'm down bad, man. I'm down bad.
The A's game on Saturday. We need to watch Frankie again.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Go A's and Warriors.
Later.